go. Big Sales National Football Show. Appreciate all coming in. Please hit the like button, and I'll tell you right off the top, we are packed. We are absolutely packed. Today on the show, at 4:30, we will have our friend, Hall of Famer Warren Moon. We'll talk some Jalen Hurts. We'll talk some Geno Smith with him. In the 3rd hour, I should say, at 5:30 Eastern Time, we will have former Eagle and 4-time NFL Super Bowl winner, Bill Romanowski, will be with us, and we'll talk a little defense with him. We'll talk a little Jonathan Gannon with Bill Romanowski, get Romo's thoughts on the Philadelphia Eagle defense. Talk to him a little bit about the 49ers. He lives in the Bay Area. So we have Warren Moon for you at 4:30, and we have Bill Romanowski in the 3rd hour at 5:30 Eastern Time. So we'll have those two guys for you. All right. I like what JM said. I wonder what direction Sill's going to go. Well, it's pretty simple. We're going to talk some defense today. Bench Fletcher Cox. It's time. You know what? I had a conversation just a couple seconds ago with Xander. You know how tough that conversation is to talk about a player who has been so important to the success of a team, and to say you have to move on. It's the toughest thing for a fan base. Actually, it's the toughest thing for an organization, especially when you're talking about a player who's a borderline Hall of Fame guy. It's tough. We're not talking about a guy like Ben Simmons, who everyone wants to move off of. You're talking about a guy who has been productive, who has been a great team leader, who has been a guy that you've leaned on as your best defensive player for the last, 10 years? Fletcher's been a great football player. So before we continue here, I want you to know this. Fletcher Cox is one of my favorite players in the last 10 years at the defensive tackle position. And I think, and look, I'm not quantifying where I'm going with this. I'm just telling you, I've got great respect for him. It's time to go. It was time to go this past offseason. Bringing him back is a Howie mistake. Howie made a mistake. You could have got Akeem Hicks in Chicago for less money. Half the salary, more production. I get he's hurt. I get it. Could have been a whole different dynamic, though, in Philadelphia, because why? They have a whole way of preparing for the season where they don't put their guys in harm's way. He may have been healthy in Philly. Philly didn't want to go that route. They wanted to bring back a guy $4 million less. He was scheduled to make $18 million. Howie dropped the ball here. He dropped the ball. He was a free agent. They even released him. It's a bad move. And as we're seeing the weeks go on, he's getting worse. He's getting blocked by tight ends. And he's hurting the integrity of the defense. The triangle. Your two defensive tackles and your linebacker are getting smashed. Do you actually think that's going to get better? It's not. Today, we're going to sit on this. How can you stop the bleeding? You're not going to fix this thing unless you want to go out and spend $5.5 million prorated for Ndamukong Suh. I don't think Howie's going to go down that route. They signed some 39-year-old, 50-year-old guy. He'll bring nothing to the table. He's going to be a warm body just in case someone gets hurt. He's not bringing anything to the table. This guy's 35 years old. Brings nothing. Don't blow him up to be something that he hasn't been for 2 years. He's a body. How do you fix the defense? 34-year-old guy. Look, I'll tell you something right now, too. The guys that you've brought in, undersized Hassan Reddick. Hassan Reddick has been doing exactly what he's done the last 3 years. You know what that is? Pressure the quarterback and get killed on the run. That's why he's not in Arizona. That's why he's not in Carolina. Why? Because he's a one-dimensional player. You got this guy on 1st and 2nd down. Seriously, Hassan Reddick on 1st and 2nd down is a joke. It hurts the integrity of your defense. Undersized players. Playing defensive, I'm going to run at Hassan Reddick every single time. If you look at those Washington Commander numbers, they weren't exceptional. What did they do that gave them the chance to win? They won first and second down. Here has been a problem that the Eagles have had for the last year and a half. It's been first and second down. They've been killed. By the way, the statistics and the numbers that Eagle defense has put up, they're fraudulent. What quarterback in the last 2 years to date have you played that you stopped that was a signature quarterback? You've played bums. You've played football teams. The Giants were the worst scoring team a year ago. Washington couldn't do anything. They had Tyler Heineke, and look at who you play. I mean, outside of Dak, putting up big numbers on that defense, every quarterback you played against that was an elite guy destroyed you. So the majority of the time, again, this is where I keep telling you, for the last 2 years, the defensive numbers, they don't really pan out. Your defense, you think your front seven is as good as it was a year ago, or do you think it's worse? I don't know. Sure looks the same to me. Well, we got more sacks. I'm going to throw a stat at you here in a minute. Okay, and by the way, guess who was named the AFC Offensive Player of the Week? Guess who was the Offensive Player of the Week? Jonathan Taylor. And he's coming for you. Here are your last 5 weeks in run defense. 124, 134, 144. Do you notice something? 168, 152. It's progressively getting worse. You guys keep telling me, well, they're going to play their best ball. They're actually getting worse. If you look at the numbers, their yards against, when it comes to run defense, is getting worse. Per carry's getting worse. 124, 134, 144, 168, 152. You're hanging in that same 150 area now. You're getting worse. You're not going to get better. You are who you are. You think some magic Zen dust is going to fall out of the sky and make your run defense better? Your defense is not that good. Your corners, your secondary are going to break down. They're going to break down. Too much pressure being put on them. You know why? Because the front four can't get home. I've been saying this all year. Here's the 2 fundamental issues with Jonathan Gannon's defense. The ends can't get home, okay? And you lose first and second down. You're not a good defense. I don't care what the shitty numbers say. You're going to get run on. And if you play this Colts team, you know, I heard Barrett say, they're not that great. Neither was Washington. I actually think the Colts are better than Washington. DeForest Buckner can play. Yannick can play. They got a good secondary. You don't really need to have that much to beat the Eagles if you do the fundamental thing. Stop the run, run the ball. Shit, that's been a mantra since 1920. Okay? Your defense, here's how I would fix it. Again, it's one thing to sit here and bitch all day about it and complain about it, but not have any kind of answers to how to fix this. You got to come up with a way to try to at least, hey, the offense now has a major problem. I'll get to that in a minute. You're not going to be able to sustain drives like you did. That thing's over. By the way, I don't give a shit what you say about 8-1. You're fighting for the NFC East now. You're going to drop another game before Dallas. Guarantee it. Here, you've got to figure a way out to stop the run. A 34 defense is not really a run-stopping defense, in my opinion. But you don't have the tackles right now to play 43. You just don't. And Gannon is in no way going to play a bear front. Because when you play a bear front, you're susceptible to plus 25-yard plays. He's never going to do that. And most notably, you know what he's never going to do too? He's not going to do a ton of run stunts. This guy doesn't believe in that. He just doesn't believe in it. Neil says, here's how you fix it. You blitz. Jonathan Gannon blitz? Really? Here's something else to add to this dynamic. According to Pro Football Focus, you're the worst tackling defense in the league. How can you be a top 10 defense and 20th against the run, the worst run tackling team in the league, and you're second in pass defense because you play bums? This has not reared its head for the actually, the best part of the team is the offense with Jalen. Jalen Hurts in the offense, they are 10 times better than that unit. You're lucky you have them. Yeah, you heard me say that. You're lucky you have Jalen Hurts. Or this thing would be even worse because that defense is not a stopping defense. You get in a back and forth, Tom Brady will annihilate that team. I can't wait to see what Rodgers does with Aaron Jones. Look at what Green Bay's figured out. Got to take the ball out of the hands of Rodgers and have more premium throws instead of him throwing every down. They ran for 200 yards against the Cowboys. 200 yards? Aaron Rodgers' offense, they're figuring it out too. Okay? Cowboys play the Vikings this week. Hey, Isaiah, I'd worry about the Colts if I were you. Okay? I'd worry about the team in front of me because you're going to have your hands full. You're going to have your hands full. Okay? Razor says I'm full of shit. On what part? Which one? Your suck-ass run defense? Your worst tackling team in the league? Which part am I wrong on? Fletcher Cox being crushed, non-productive, and overpaid. Which part of that's not true? Tell me. I'm interested. Tell me. And you're playing against probably the third best back in the league. Tell me what's so full of shit about that. Hassan Reddick on the field during first and second down is a joke. It's a joke. He looks like a strong safety out there playing end. I'd run at that dude every day. Unless you put a box of bricks in his pocket, he ain't stopping the run. I'd run at every single one of those rush ends. You tell me which part, Razor, that I'm wrong on. Your defense is fraudulent. Fraudulent. You know why? You can't do the one thing that's most important. Okay? Stop the run. You're not tough. That's a soft defense. It's soft. Soft. And you can't fix it. Gannon's defense was weak point, not just the players. Players can sometimes overcome a shitty system. We see it all the time. I'll tell you what's wrong with Jonathan Gannon's defense here in a second, but I'll make a point to you. Why do you think Josh Allen is different than a year ago with Brian Dable? Why do you think? Could someone come up? I'm going to give you a coaching lesson on your boy Gannon. Why do you think Josh Allen is throwing more picks, and most notably in the second half? Why? Anton says Dan woke up on the wrong side of the bed. You know why? Defense to me is personal. It's personal when you score points and run the ball on me. It's personal. It should be taken personal. When you get teams blowing you off the ball and dominating you, it's personal. Because he's inaccurate? Dumb take, Solo. Here's why. Josh Allen has a great first half when he's on script. But when they have to make adjustments in the second half, Ken Dorsey's not there yet. He doesn't have the in-game experience to make those adjustments yet to what Josh Allen is doing when he has to go off script. He hasn't adjusted well. And some of those throws into the end zone, why? I'd rather see Josh Allen take off running. I'd rather kick field goal. You kick a couple field goals against Minnesota Vikings, you win that game handily. You're throwing in the red zone in front of DBs that are going to break the route? Dumb. I watched the 22 on the Bills. Their in-game adjustments in the second half are terrible. Maniac goes, Sills, let's be real. We weren't dominated by, yes, you completely were. Your O-line and your D-line, they held you under 100 rushing, supposedly the best O-line in the NFL, and they ran the ball for 152 on you. Get out of here, man. And they beat you by 11. You were favored by 11. You were favored. It's a 22-point difference. William goes, how long, Sills, before the players not accepting Gannon's style of defense? William, I really think they have. I think Fletcher hates it. Asking him the two-gap. He's a penetrating defensive tackle. We barely ran the ball. Shitty coaching. Your coaching also got destroyed. Your coach got destroyed. You know that last touchdown doesn't count. Oh, okay. If you're keeping score, dude, ask a better if that. That's the people in Vegas if they don't count. Eagles ran the ball one time in the second half. Pay attention. I did. Out-coached. Out-hustled. Out-toughed. They beat you in every facet of the game. More effort. Better tackling. Out-hustled you. Out-toughed you. Keep making excuses for losing. You'll find yourself in the same L category. Gannon won't last the season. Yeah, he will. They love him. 124, 134, 144, 168, 152. You're getting worse. You know what's different? I didn't realize this. You're not going to be playing elite quarterbacks. You're going to be playing elite running backs. I'd rather face Josh Allen. You know why? They don't have a running game. I'd rather face Kansas City if I'm Philly. They don't have a running game. What I don't want to face is Derrick Henry, Saquon Barkley, Aaron Jones, Jonathan Taylor, even the Bears. I think the Bears are 2, right? In rushing? That's right. 8-1, nobody's getting fired. Michael, appreciate it. You ain't fixing this run defense. Here's what I would do. I'd go to a 34. I don't know if that means putting Dean on the team or in the starting lineup. I don't know. But you got to do something different because your tackles aren't getting it done. And until Jordan Davis gets back, you've got to do something. Either drop a 50 front in there, put a bear front, go to a 34, See if that works. Hargrave's more of a nose anyway. You've got to do something. Because if you don't, you're going to start losing ball games. You're going to start losing ball games. We're 8-1. Dude, you got beat by a shitty Washington team. Tyler Heineke. To me, that's a sense of urgency conversation. Bro, we're not talking Aaron Rodgers or Tom Brady or the playoffs here. We're talking Tyler Heineke. Washington probably won't have a winning record by the end of the year. We don't have a nose anymore. Fly, I'm telling you. But again, here's one thing, Fly. You're right. Hargrave can play the nose. But Jonathan Gannon's not this smart. He's not that creative. I'm doing things and saying things right here, knowing full well he can't do this. He's not capable of doing this. He's not capable of doing Jim Johnson's style of, how do we figure out to put Hugh Douglas in a position to be successful? How can we do that? How can we make Jeremiah Trotter better? How can we do all those things to get all those guys in positions to be able to be successful? How can I get Corey in a position where he can be a destructive defensive tackle? That guy sits around, and you know what he does? It's like playing with the Rubik's Cube when you're a guy like Jim Johnson or a guy like Buddy Ryan. They sit around going like this. I got all these pieces. What piece fits the best? See, he can't do that. He's a plug-and-play DC. He's got a formula, and his idea is this. It's like a recipe. He has the recipe, and he's not changing that recipe. This guy makes lasagna. He's going to make lasagna one way, not 10 ways. He's not changing the ingredients. He's not going to go like this. Let's press coverage here. He may do that a couple times in disguise, depending on the personnel he lines up against, too. Okay? But he's not that creative. So to sit here and go, he should drop a 34, 50 front, maybe even a wide 9, I don't know. He's not that creative. This is going to be an ongoing problem here towards the end of the stretch run here. Okay? Damon, this is what I'm talking about. Look at what Damon just said. True story. Jim Johnson was out to dinner with his wife, grabbed a napkin and drew up a play. You could be in a conversation. I've been around. You guys ever hear of Bud Carson? You guys know who Bud Carson is? Okay? You could be in the middle of a conversation with Bud Carson. Bud Carson would go like this. Excuse me. He would write down a stunt or like a T stunt or something like that. And he goes, excuse me, what were you saying? In the middle of their conversations, they're thinking about ways to utilize their defense. The problem with Jonathan Gannon, and guys, I want to walk back something I said. It's not that you don't have good talent on defense. He hasn't put him in the right position to win. He hasn't put him in the right position to win. Okay? Derek Thomas was not a great run-stopping defensive edge rusher like Cornelius Bennett was. So what'd you do? They made sure that Derek Thomas of the Kansas City Chiefs was always on the weak side, which meant the most he would take on would be tight ends. He wouldn't be taking on like the 350-pound offensive tackles. That's something that Cornelius Bennett can do better. Cornelius Bennett is more set up for that. He's 256, 60, 6'4". Derek Thomas was not that guy. He was a smaller guy. So what did they do? They edge rushed him on the weak side almost all the time. And when they put him on the strong side, on the back side of the quarterback or the blind side, they always made sure it was in the short side of the field. Joseph, hey, Sills, Gannon is not a Hall of Fame coach. Maybe lower your expectations a bit. My expectations have been low. I can't get any lower, Joseph. I never thought this defense was that hot. Except, wait a minute, reel back in, except the corner play. The corner play's been great. The corner plays have been great. They really have. I have no bitch with CJ. Slay had a horrible game. Happens. Happens to Justin Jefferson. Happens to everybody. Bradbury, I think Bradbury last couple of weeks, I don't know. I think he's all okay. Your secondary's been fine, man. It's one of the best in the league. That's not changed in my view. But they're going to get worn down here. You know what I mean by worn down? Your defense getting run on and not getting home, dude, they're going to start getting torched by shitty quarterbacks. Seth Joyner for DC, Eagles would never allow that. They don't want somebody coming in with strong personalities. They don't like strong personality coaches. Some of you were saying, well, Nick is a strong personality coach. Not to the front office, he's not. Nick don't make suggestions. Nick's a politician. The Eagles signed a D to improve their defense. A 35-year-old guy. Good luck. The players failed Gannon in the first half. The players don't believe in Gannon. Joseph can play the nose. We'll see. Maybe. 6'4", 335. Dude, you're asking a guy to go in there and be a slug. I don't know how that's going to play out. I just don't. Hey, Sills, if we all get food poisoning, we'll can and change the recipe. You got food poisoning against Washington. All right. So we're going to continue to hit on this, but we're going to move off here because I got something else now we're going to go into. We're going to go on the other side of the ball. We're going to go to the offense. Have you noticed something the last 2 days, what I've done here? And even though it is a narrative on my Twitter page that I've banged on Jalen, I haven't banged on Jalen, and I'm not going to today for 2 days. But yet it's some sort of narrative that I consistently bang on this guy for what's happened here. By the way, I'm off of Washington. I don't give a shit about that game anymore. I'm talking more about what's gone on in the 9 games. So I'm off of Washington. You have to have short-term memory loss. That game's in the rearview mirror. On the Indy now. It's on the Indy. That game's a lesson. The injury now to Dallas Goedert and what impact it has on the offense. Well, here's one thing's for sure. We're now going to find out if Jalen Hurts is going to be able to utilize just Dallas Goedert and A.J. Brown. And A.J. Brown's a little banged up going into this game, I think. Because you know why? I'm going to give A.J. the benefit that he was hurt in that Washington game. Because you know why? He sucked. He sucked in that game. So I'm going to give him the benefit. Because he's too good a player, right? He's too good a football player. I agree with you. He's too good a football player. What impact do you think he has? Let's think about that for a minute. He was Jalen's number 2 target. He's a player that has emerged as one of the top 3 tight ends in the NFL. And if you want to go further, he's probably the most complete. I've been saying this now for 6 weeks. He's probably the most complete because you know why? He's a better blocker than Travis Kelce. He's a better blocker, I think, than Kittle. He's a better blocker. I don't know. You know who he reminds me of? The kid Andrews in Baltimore. Those 2 guys are probably your 2 complete tight ends. Kelsey's kind of like Jimmy Graham in a way, right? What's the one thing that you always counted on Dallas Goedert? Block and release. This guy had a little Gronk in him. What made Gronkowski great? There were three fundamental things that made Gronkowski great outside of having the GOAT as his quarterback. I'll tell you what, man. I'd beg Gronk to come and play for the Eagles. He ain't ever going to do that, but I'd have made a call to him anyway and go, hey, you want to play in Philly? How'd you like to come play tight end for me? I'll give you I'd rather give him $4 million than give Adama Katsu $4 million. I'll give you $4 million right now to come play the rest of the season out for us at tight end. Would you not sign Gronk tonight? Okay? Gronkowski 6'6", 6'7". I'd look at if I'm Howie Roseman, screw Dominic Sue. I'm calling Gronkowski up and go, hey Gronk, I'll give you $4.5 million, non-prorated, to play the rest of the season out, and you could be the number 2 when Goddard gets back, who's now been put on IR and he's out 4 weeks. I mean, he's most likely going to say no. He's most likely going to say no, but I'd still call him and ask him. Finis says they're not going to lose the rest of the year. I would have said that if he got beat by a winning team at least. 85 thinks that the new guy's going to help anchor the defense. That's why a football player who's on arguably one of the worst run defensive teams in the Chargers, you think he's going to come in and help the Eagles. Why don't you guys do a little bit of homework? Do you know where the Chargers are in run defense? They're at the bottom of the league. But he's going to help. Magically, when he puts the green and white on, he's going to magically help the run defense, even though he couldn't help the Chargers out. Okay. Congratulations on that shitbag take. He couldn't help the Chargers out. Yeah, but he's going to help. He's going to help the Eagles out. Okay. He's going to miraculously turn into a younger Fletcher Cox. Jesus Christ. The impact that he has will be this. We're going to find out a little more about Jalen. Okay? Why would Howie sign a guy without doing homework? How's Robert Quinn doing? How's Fletcher Cox doing? How's Hassan Reddick doing against the run? How them guys doing? See, I'll tell you what it looks like to me? You guys are just getting a retirement fund for some of these guys. Looks like an old folks home. I mean, how many old folks home guys are you going to sign? You got Robert Quinn. You got this guy here who's 38 years old. I mean, Jesus. How many more old guys? Yeah, I'm sure old guys are going to help you out. Good night, almighty. Unbelievable. By the way, Big Sale's quarterback rankings are today. Week 11 of the NFL. We have the top 10 picks in the upcoming April 2023 NFL draft. Hurts is not a pocket passer. This just in. Great take. He just give them a bigger body. Yeah, I'm sure. He'll help. He couldn't help the Chargers, but he's going to help the Eagles. Dallas Goedert's loss is enormous. Now we're going to find out if this guy could carry a team. You got the Colts. Hey, how about this? Could somebody tell me what the point spread is in this game? Because I'm clearly going to take the Colts if it's over 7. If it's over 7, I'm taking the Colts in this game. Oh, my prop bet with Jonathan Taylor and their O-line, I would probably say 138, 140 on the ground. I'll take that bet too. Somebody tell me what the point spread is in this game. Guarantee you, but it's 6.5. I think the Eagles can win by that. Let's see if it gets bigger by the end of the week. It's 6.5. Okay. It's our front formation that isn't working. Gannon doesn't know how to use the line. He's a former DB coach. Sway says, I'm convinced you covered the Eagles to talk shit. Boy, Sway, who talks to you mostly when it comes to the Eagles in your market? Cheerleaders? So you like listening to people who don't tell you the truth. Or wait, I know what it is because Xander says this all the time about me. I use these punch words like never, owned, dominated, outcoached. You see, those other places, Eagles would be calling them, this guy's being a little harsh on my guys. You're right. Dan Sileo, please come to the principal's office. Do you think you could be a little kinder on the Eagles, please? I mean, some positive talk. Positive talk? Last 5 weeks, they've been destroyed on the run. What do you want me to do, lie? No, and then my wife has to come in and go, you're going to have to start bullshitting a little more. So, you want to keep your job. Don't worry, my aunt, after every show, do you think you're being a little too hard on him? I don't know. I'm just being truthful. Yeah, but here's my aunt talking, but not everybody likes to hear the truth. Oh. You get tunnel vision? What the hell do you think an NFL season is, JM? It's 1 week at a time. You have to have tunnel vision. Because if you don't, you're going to be thinking about Washington rolling into Indianapolis. Dan's a shock jock. I have no idea in my 35 years what that's ever been. Shock jock. I have no idea what that means. You know what I found out controversy means? Telling the truth. Telling the truth. Yeah. Controversial? Well, you think I write down all these things and you think I come up and go, hey, this will really get him? Get the wrong guy. Don't talk like that. I'm not that smart. Linville Joseph, 6'4", 350. At the very least, will command double teams. Really? He got crushed with the Chargers. Crushed. let me take a look at where the Chargers are right now. And run defense. If he's so good. What is the ranking for the San Diego? What are the rankings for the rush defense for the Los Angeles Chargers? By the way, the best rush defense can't be the 49ers, is it? Oh, it is. Do you guys play Tennessee soon? Holy shit, they're second. Wow. Indianapolis is 10th. Interesting. Wow. And the Chargers are 30th. Yeah, real helpful. Real helpful. 32nd in run defense. yeah, he'll help. Another dumb sign. 9th best all-around defense. Yeah, because you know why? All you have to do is run the ball on him. You don't have to throw it on him. Okay? My point is, he hasn't played this year. He was on the shittiest defense, run defense. Don't you think the Chargers would have kept him if he was a productive D lineman? Oh, okay. He took the year off, so he's probably better. Dude, please. What's his name? Linville Joseph? Thank you. I'll have another. What a dopey sign. Go get Sue. Spend the $5.5 million. Go get him. Look at Howie being cheap again. Frugal. Total dumb sign. The guy was a turd last year for the Chargers. But he's going to help the Eagle front and their rush defense. How do you look at that and say just because he's changing zip codes that all of a sudden he's going to turn into this guy? Hey, the dude hasn't – I know the dude hasn't played this year. He's been on the street. The Chargers had him. Don't you think if he was good, they would have kept him? Dumb take. No, dumb. Okay. Hey, gaming, dumb take. Shitbag sign. Sills was drooling over. Yeah, Robert Quinn can't be utilized correctly. Why? Because you're getting destroyed on the run. Dude, I had the numbers. Hey, hang on for a minute. I had the numbers for Washington. Let me show you this. Show me where a guy was really like sensational in that game outside of Terry McLaurin. Let's see. Tyler Heineke, 17 of 30 of 29. 211 and a pick. I don't know. I wouldn't say that that's an all-star game. Brian Robinson, 26 carries, 86 yards. Not exceptional. I mean, where did they win? They won by controlling the ball with 49 carries. They didn't even have to have big-time performances from any. My point is they didn't have to have anybody. The Colts don't have to have spectacular performances to beat you or to beat your defense. They don't. These guys didn't. I don't see Tyler Heineke with 311 yards and 3 touchdowns or a guy going for 148. It was collectively done. Keep your offense in third and short. Run the ball on Philly, and you'll win. Totally a remedy. Totally a remedy. Joseph had 57 tackles and a sack and a 3-4. And they sucked a year ago on the run defense. They sucked. They were 30th. Anton, 20th. But the Eagles do have to turn the ball over 3 times in order for most teams to beat them. Well, you don't have Dallas Goedert now for a month. Let's see what that – here. How much of an impact do I think that has on Jalen Hurts and that offense? Enormous. Security blanket's gone. Could always go to Goddard. You're going to be almost like you were a year ago. You better hope AJ doesn't hurt himself or something, or jam his tongue on a cup of soup, or he doesn't I don't know, have a headache or a migraine or hurt his finger or something. Hey, I'll tell you what, one thing that guy ain't like T.O., he ain't that when it comes to toughness. No. Guy twists his ankle and the guy folds like an armchair. Yeah. T.O. plays with a broken leg. 14 catches, 140. I don't know. T.O. was a beast in that Super Bowl, man. And too bad he had a quarterback named Donovan McNabb. Sorry, I'm going a little sick. Sorry about that. I'm sorry about that. T.O., anytime that you have Donovan, I did it again. I'm sorry. I don't know why that last name makes me vomit like that. Judge, I don't know what that is, but every time I say Donovan I get a little nauseous. I don't know. Sales, you think Terrell Owens would be a beast today? Wait a minute. So you can't chuck him, or you can't jam him, or you can't touch him down the sidelines? Terrell Owens would be undefensible. Undefensible. The blocking will be missed by Dallas. Dude, his production will be massively missed. Now, here's what I would do. Did you ever think maybe implementing some screens? Or are we incapable of doing that? How about throwing the ball to your backs to compensate for the loss? The kid, Miles Sanders, am I wrong? Could somebody help me out here? What was Miles Sanders' catch total his rookie year? Could somebody help me on that? Because I could have swore he had a boatload of catches in his rookie season. Instead of figuring out, put the blocking tight end in there, okay? Put the blocking tight end guy in there. Start throwing some screen passes. Your backs are a non-factor in that aspect of the game. Okay? Throw to your backs a little more. Come up with a different way to compensate for some of those numbers. Could somebody tell me what he had in his rookie? Because I could have sworn when Sanders came out of Penn State, I could have sworn he had some pretty good numbers when he caught the ball his rookie season. Okay? But Gainwell, come on, man. Gainwell, Miles Sanders. I need Miles Sanders on the field more. The guy's production that has to go up is Sanders, not Gainwell. Okay? I want Sanders to get the ball more. He's better in open space. Or if you want to do this, drop AJ in the slot. Put Quez and put Devontae Smith. Put Smith over on Y. Put Quez on Z. Do that. Do something. You're going to have to come up with a way to compensate for the loss. So wait a minute. Miles Sanders had 59 catches for 509. What happened? What happened? How did that get away from the offense? How did a guy who had 60 catches his rookie season? Is that true? Miles Sanders had 50 catches for 509? Is that true? Sway goes, bro, the offense isn't the problem. Oh, it's going to be. Oh, it's going to be. It's going to be. That thing has to be. Your center's hurt. Your left tackle's hurt. Your tight end's out. Your number one wideout is banged up. You think this is going to get better as the season goes on? Can I tell you what another fundamental mistake that the Eagles made? Why don't you sit Jordan Mailata for a couple weeks once he hurt his shoulder? Instead, you know what you've done? You've allowed this guy to play the entire season at 70%. And good edge rushers are beating him. So they figure, I'd rather have a 70% Jordan Mailata than Jack Driscoll. And you could put Andre Diller out there because he was hurt. And so you've got a left tackle playing at 70%. You could see it when you watch the 22. It's not that good right now, especially with the big speed edge rushers that get to his outside corner. He's not very good at it. Then I'm assuming you'll get to the point that the Eagles suddenly are doing what they did at Hey, I think everything's catching up with him. I think these next 4 games are going to tell you everything you need to know. How far they'll go in the postseason. But you're 8-1. Keep hanging on that. We'll see what happens Sunday. Short work week, banged up football team. You lost a star receiver. Your defense is getting plowed. By the way, this ain't a 4-quarter issue. Let's see. 8, 16. This is a 20-quarter issue now. 20 quarters. You're giving an average of 140 yards rushing up. 8-1, baby. Funny, you don't look like the best team in the league. Linville Joseph, 62 tackles in 2020, playing on the shittiest run defense in the league, Razor. I don't. He had 62 tackles on the 30th ranked run defense. Yeah, congratulations. He piled up a lot of stats so much, they dumped his ass. Congratulations. Great sign. Go get him, Howie. Another turd sign. Linville Joseph, 38 years old, 62 tackle seals in 2020. Wait a minute. It's 2022. You're giving me stats from 2 years ago? Woo, yeah. Yeah, 2 years ago stats. Congratulations to you. Well, he was a hell of a player when he was 36. Oh, man. So you gave Fletcher Cox $14.5 million. Why? Well, because, hey, Xander did it for me, and he's right in a way. Says I can't talk shit on Fletcher. I get it. That's why I'm here. Move on. It's the NFL, man. Don't ever get tied into the name on the back of the jersey. Nobody cares. That's what the Patriots do. They make the tough cuts. See you later. Chandler Jones, even. They shouldn't have moved off him. Belichick said, screw it. I won 3 more Super Bowls. Richard Seymour. My boy Fletch. I know, man. How you doing? I've never seen a guy. The guys, you know what? Seriously, you know what he should do at the link right now? He should sell like tickets at the turnstile. Because I can't tell which one's the turnstile. Fletcher Cox or him. I mean, he's a turnstile. It's what it is. Happens. Once again, though, I want to do show respect for him. I mean, be kidding aside. Fletcher's getting a green jacket, dude. Seriously, it's 6 Pro Bowls? I don't know. You could make a conversation Hall of Fame. You could make a conversation. Who was the second best defensive tackle during the Aaron Donald era? I don't know. Who was better, Ndamukong Suh or Fletcher Cox? Probably Fletcher. Suh had that one huge year where he had 10 sacks in Detroit. I think Fletcher Cox is a borderline Hall of... I would make a case for him. He's a great football player. Cox was never meant to play 70 snaps a game. Who is today? I mean, by the way, this is one of the arguments I've always had, even with Xander, and I've had it with Sapp. Aaron Donald, do you see what he is doing right now this year? He's getting destroyed on the run. Run at him. He ain't that hot playing run defense. Watch this. He's on a football team right now that's getting annihilated against the run, and he's going to have his stats, 8 TFLs, 11 or 12 sacks. But it's like Kirk Cousins stats. It's what you guys tell me, even though Cousins is 8-1 now. Turnstile, Casby. You must be dude, never fall in love with your players. Fall in love with your team. Okay? Then you never get your little hearts broken where you have to have a tearaway jersey on the back with the name on it and you could just keep the Jersey Eagles. This is about the emblem. It's not about the player. No one cares. Owners don't. GMs don't. What, you think Howie Roseman does? Howie likes to save face, or he wouldn't keep Jalen Reagor. He's a turd. Hargrave needs 5 more sacks to pass Andy Harmon for the most sacks by a TD in Eagle history. That's awful impressive. It really is. That's awful impressive. I actually like Hargrave. I think he makes a little too much money, 12-9. I mean, am I getting the production out of him? He was Casper the Ghost too, man. You could have put him on the milk carton too. So how about this? We take a look at this. Howie signing Fletcher, bad move. Robert Quinn, I want to see a little more. Hassan. I know why that guy's got his 3rd team in 3 years, man. He's a schwimp. He's a schwimp. Hassan Reddick. Seriously, when I see the kicker out there and I see Hassan Reddick, I can't tell the difference. I think he wears a size 9 foot. ESPN analyst not beating Nick. Oh my God. Wait a minute. I never thought of this. The Eagles are playing against Dan Sileo on Sunday. Jeff Saturday was in a booth, or he was in a studio 2 weeks ago, and he was talking shit actually on the Raiders. I've never seen a guy post something on a Twitter page, call the Raiders out, and then go beat them. Okay? Yeah, I think the guy, I think Hassan Reddick has a size 9 shoe. Sounds like you like Hassan Reddick. I would never have signed that guy. Seriously, really? He needs about 72 White Castles in his pocket. Okay? Some bricks for shoes or something. He's not very big. Hurts got bad at home on Monday night. Well, no. I haven't said anything about him yet. Well, we're going to get there, though. Top of the hour. We got the quarterback rankings. 124, 134, 144, 168, 152. That's the run defense. And by the way, Jonathan Taylor was the AFC Offensive Player of the Week with 22 carries for 147. He must be licking his chops watching that game film. He must be licking his chops. I can't wait to get in there and play. He must be good. Dude, he must be licking his chops. He must be just going, oh, this is going to be another great week. Arizona Cardinals are worse without Hassan Reddick. Explain that. Really? I don't think they're worse. I don't think they're what impact did he have on them? They let him go. Then he had to go to Carolina, and his college coach let him go. Did you ever do you ever wonder why? You didn't wonder why. That would be like letting TJ Watt go to 3 different teams because you can't play the run. TJ Watt's not a demon on the run, but he can play it. 2 weeks ago, he was doing Saturday A-list. Anton, can you imagine this? So this guy's working at ESPN. Jeff, we have a call from you. It's Jim Irsay. Hey, Jim, what's up, man? I know I'm a consultant there for the team. What do you need? What am I doing? We're breaking down the third quarter of the Raiders and the Charger game. Yeah. You want me to coach the team? The head coach. You want me to leave my job right now and be the head coach of the Indianapolis Colts? Let me call my wife. I'm taking it, but I got to call my wife. Excuse me, ESPN, I'm leaving. I got a head coaching job now with the Colts. Yeah. Really? Yeah, I guess. Yeah, okay. Yes. I know we got the Eagles on the horizon. I'll beat them too. Holy cow, you guys are going to get beat by Lee Corso. Oh my God. Hey, don't let Lee Corso beat you, man. Holy shit. Warren Moon, 4:30 Eastern Time. Bill Romanowski, 5:30 Eastern Time. Seriously, guys, you can't let Lee Corso beat you. He can't. Oh, my God. Jeff Saturday's playing with house money. Irsay wants him to ram the shit into the Hey, dude, one game don't make you a coach. And Jim Irsay, he must be all popped up again. Yeah, man. You know, my guy, I told you. Here's Jim Irsay at night. I told you. What's wrong, Jim? I think I took too many oxys. That's okay. Have some whiskey. Yeah, that always is good to wash it down. What a train wreck of an organization. So you've had two train wreck, actually three. The Texans, the Commandos, or the Washington Snyders, and now you've got the Indianapolis Ursays. Holy cow. So you had a maniac who sexually harasses women in Washington. Now you got the pill popper and the Houston guy, you know, they say things about him and how he thinks about, you know, certain folks. That's Bob McNeil, inmates running the asylum and all that, you know. Don't lose the Lee Corso. Oh, man. All right. Hey, week 11 of the NFL. Also, my Big Sills top 10 quarterback list. Where does Hurts sit in this? I'll tell you. We'll do it next. Hit the like button. Keep it here on the National Football Show.
Don't